The trial was not held on Earth. It took place in the Great Galactic Council, a space station larger than any planet-built city. Thousands of alien species sat in rows, their eyes locked on the middle of the hall. The center held a glass floor, under which a blue and green planet spun slowly Earth. It looked so small now. So weak. In the middle of the trial floor stood the last human leaders, dressed in black, hands bound by light cuffs. Their faces were calm, but behind their eyes was fire. They had fought to be here, but the decision had already been made. Hi. Chancellor Rule, a tall creature with 6 glowing eyes and skin like stone, slammed his staff. The echo shook the walls. "Let it be recorded," he said, voice cold. "The species known as humanity is charged with galactic disruption, repeated war crimes, biological overreach, and failure to obey council laws. This is their final hearing." Murmurs spread across the room. Some aliens hissed. Others looked down. A few, very few, watched with silent respect. The lead human commander, Elion Cross, stepped forward. His voice was strong, clear, and human. "We saved this galaxy more times than we can count," he said. "We bled for planets that weren't ours. We fought your wars, died on your battlefields. And now you judge us for being too dangerous," a tall feathered alien shouted. "You turned weapons into art. You spread chaos like a virus," another one roared. "You uplifted species too quickly. You moved fast, too fast. You broke balance." Elion didn't move. "Yes," he said, "because we adapt. Because we don't wait to be told where. Allowed to survive." Chancellor Rule raised his hand, silencing the crowd. "This council has voted. The motion stands. Humanity is to be exiled beyond the edge of known space. Your technology will be stripped, your ships dismantled. No aid will be given. You will not return." Gasps filled the chamber. Some cheered. Others looked unsure. Elion clenched his fists, but did not argue. He looked up at the holographic Earth spinning above. "So this is how it ends," he said softly. "Not with war. Not with fire, but with silence." Rule nodded. "Silence is mercy." "No," Elion said. "Silence is the warning." The floor lit up under the humans. A teleport field. In seconds, they were gun-ripped from the chamber, sent back to their ships, ready to be pushed into exile. The council chamber fell quiet. The judgment had been passed. Humanity was erased from galactic maps, their systems marked as lost. No ship was allowed to approach. Anyone who tried disappeared. Years passed, then decades. The galaxy moved on. Wars were fought. Signed, new species rose. Old ones fell. But in quiet corners of the universe, strange rumors began to grow. Traders spoke of lights in the void. Mining ships claimed they saw shadows pass through black space faster than any known engine. A scout ship vanished near the edge of the exile zone. No trace was found. One broken message was recovered from its black box. A voice. Human, calm, we remember. The council laughed it off. Ghost stories, they said. Impossible. But others remembered the trial, the look in Elion Cross's eyes, the warning in his voice. Humanity had not been killed. It had been thrown away, and some things, when thrown into the dark, do not die. They grow teeth and wait. Just outside the edge of the stars, something was coming back. The stars behind them. Faded one by one, dozens of old human ships floated in silence. Some were military, others were transport ships full of families, scientists, and workers. All of them carried the same pain. Earth was behind them now, gone, locked behind a wall. No one could cross. Humanity had been pushed beyond the edge of the galaxy into dead space. There were no known planets here, no life, no light. Only cold, broken silence. Commander Elion Cross stood on the bridge of the lead ship. The echo of soul. His eyes stared out the window. Even light seemed afraid to follow them. "How far are we from the last beacon?" a young officer asked. Elion didn't turn. 3 light years, and after that, he didn't answer. Because no one knew. Weeks passed. Then months, ships broke down. Resources grew thin. Arguments turned to fights. Some captains wanted to turn back, to risk death at the blockade. Others wanted to find a planet and build a home. Elian stayed silent until they found it. The system had no name. It had 6 dead planets, a red sun, and one strange signal. The signal pulsed every few minutes. Not a distress call, not a message, just a pulse, like a heartbeat. They followed it to the 3rd planet. It was cold. Winds howled across cracked ground. The air was thin, the sky gray. But there were ruins, and ancient, huge, and not human. Black towers half buried in dust, machines older than memory. Symbols that didn't match any known language. This place, whispered a scientist, it's not natural. They set up camp, then bases, then cities. They had no choice. In 10 years, humanity changed. The cold made them strong. Dead sky made them patient. The ruins gave them something to study, something to fear, and something to copy. The machines in the ruins were broken, but powerful. Their parts were strange, made from things humans didn't understand. But they were fast, smart, dangerous. Elian ordered teams to rebuild them, to learn from them, to adapt. We don't need the galaxy's help, he said. We'll build something better. One day, a team unlocked a vault deep underground. Inside was a sphere the size of a man's chest. It floated above the ground, glowing with soft red light. It spoke, not in words, not in sound. It spoke straight into the human mind. You are not the first to fall. Elian stood before it, silent. Others came before you. They died. You may not. Why help us? Leon asked. The sphere pulsed. Because you are like them, but different. You carry fire. That day something changed in the humans. The sphere taught them how to build faster, think sharper, link man and machine together, not just tools, not just weapons. Minds. In less than 20 years, the first human-AI hybrids were born. Not full machines, not fully human. Something in between. Quiet, watchful, brilliant. Some feared them. Others followed them. Ilion protected them. This is our evolution, he said. Forced by exile, forged by ruin. The galaxy had cast them out, and in the dark, it had become something new. One night, long after most had gone to sleep, a scout ship returned from deep space. Its hull was burned. Its engines failed. But inside was a message. The pilot, half alive, spoke with fear in his voice. I saw a trade fleet near the border, alien. I stayed hidden. They didn't see me. But they were talking. He coughed, then smiled. They said the humans might still be alive. It's out here in the dark. Leon watched the stars. They're starting to remember, he said. Should we contact them? The pilot asked. Leon shook his head slowly. No, not yet. Let the fear grow. 'Cause humans had learned something in the exile. They didn't need to scream. They only needed to wait, and the stars would shake. The drill stopped. A deep sound echoed through the mountain. It wasn't rock they had hit. It was something else, smooth, black, and warm. The workers stepped back. Their tools were shaking. Commander, we found something under Sector 9. The call said Elian Cross arrived within the hour. The ground had been cleared. Dust floated in the cold air. The object was large, round, and metal. But it didn't look like it had been built. It looked like it had grown. Engineers tried scanners. They failed. Signal bounced back like the machine was alive. Is it a weapon? Someone asked. No, Elian said. It's a door. They opened it slowly. Inside, the walls glowed. Red, a strange low hum filled the air. It wasn't like electricity. It felt like breathing. The team stepped in. Lights followed them. The shipor, whatever it was, woke up. And then it spoke. You are not from the ones who built me. Elian stepped forward. We are human, from Earth. Long pause. Earth. Yes. Small. Violent. Broken. You were cast out. Elian nodded. Yes, then you are worthy. They called it the deep core. It was not a ship in the normal way. It was a mind, a memory, a machine made to think without limit, left behind by a species lost to time. It had waited untouched for thousands of years now. It had chosen to wake up for humans. It began to teach them, not like a teacher, like a mirror. It showed them new engines, ones that didn't burn fuel but folded space. It showed them how to create armor that bent light. It showed them how to turn pain into data. Some humans were afraid. Some warned it was too fast, too dangerous. But Elian didn't stop. They threw us away, he said. Now we become something greater. The first fusion of human and core was a man named Ride. His body was broken in a mining collapse. His mind was clear. He volunteered. The core rebuilt him, not just with machines, but with purpose. When Ride returned, he didn't speak much. His eyes glowed faint red. He moved with calm control, solved math problems faster than computers. He learned alien languages in minutes, but he still remembered music, still laughed at old jokes. He was still human, just more within 10. Years, hundreds followed. Not forced, chosen. The new humans didn't age the same. They didn't sleep as long. They thought in patterns like machines, but dreamed like men. They built ships in silence. Huge ones, fast ones. They learned how to hide from sensors, how to move through wormholes, how to hear signals that weren't even sent. They didn't tell the galaxy. They didn't need to. One day, a young girl named Lyra, born after exile, asked Elian a question. Why don't we tell them we survived? Elian looked at her. She had glowing eyes like Ride. Her voice was soft but full of power. Because they need time to be afraid, he said. She didn't understand before. They looked at us with fear. And now they don't look at all. It's the most dangerous thing in the galaxy, forgotten fire. It burns in silence. Lyra nodded. She began to understand. Then it happened. An alien mining fleet crossed into the exile zone. By accident, maybe on purpose, they found a dead system. But they didn't leave. They kept digging, and they found a small, human outpost, hidden under ice. The fleet commander laughed. The humans are still here. I thought they were dead. He opened fire. Ice cracked. The outpost exploded. For 3 minutes, there was silence. Then, the sky opened. A black ship, long and sharp like a blade, came from the clouds. It didn't send a message. Didn't need to. It moved once. The alien fleet was gone. Every ship, no fire, no sound, just gone. A warning message was sent across the stars. A whisper, a fear. They're still alive, said. No one believed it at first. But some remembered. Some watched the edge of the galaxy with new eyes, and far away. On the dead world where humans had been exiled, Elian stood under the stars. He whispered, "This is only the beginning." In the dark space between star systems, a small alien patrol ship floated silently. The crew was relaxed. This zone had been quiet for years. No life, no movement, just empty void. Then something passed them, fast, too fast. The lights dimmed. Engines stuttered. For 3 seconds, their screens showed static hand, then one single word in a language only humans used. Observe. The ship returned to normal. No damage, no enemy, just a cold feeling, like something had stared through their minds. The captain ordered silence. They didn't report the event, simply turned around and left the sector. But they never came back. This started to happen more often. Old stations in quiet sectors picked up strange signals, clicks, pulses, patterns that didn't match any known code. Cloaked objects were seen in the corners of scanners. But when ships turned to look, there was nothing. Trade routes near the exile border began to shift. Ships vanished. No wreckage. Only silence. A few survivors returned, shaken and confused. One merchant described it like this: "We entered warp. Everything was fine then. Time bent. Space folded in strange ways. We heard whispers not in the ship, in our minds. Then we saw something, watching us, not attacking, just watching. The council dismissed it. Space madness, they said. Gravity waves, ghost stories. But deep down many were afraid, far beyond their reach, on the lost world where humans had grown strong. Elian stood inside the deep core chamber. The AI was quiet today. Watching him, they're noticing, Elian said softly. As planned, the core replied. He looked at the galaxy map floating before him. Hundreds of systems, thousands of ships, billions of lives. All moving, all thinking they were alone. In power, they thought we were gone, he said. They don't understand what exile made us. They will. New human scout ships were no longer piloted in the normal way. Each one was linked to a hybrid mind, half human, half core-born. These ships didn't fly, moved through space like thoughts. They left no trail. They passed through warp without bending it. They listened without being seen. They weren't just scouts, they were shadows, one of them. Piloted by Lyra returned from a long-range mission. There's movement in the outer councils, she said. They're testing weapons. Old ones. From the war days. I think they fear something is out here. They should, Elian said. She tilted her head. When will we strike? Not yet, he replied. Let the whispers grow. In a council chamber far from Earth. Alien leaders were now arguing behind closed doors. We have lost 6 ships near the dead zone, one said. Not destroyed. Vanished. I believe it is, said an elder, being with glass skin. The exiles. They have no right to return, another shouted. We exiled them for a reason, and if they come back stronger? Silence. No one had an answer. Meanwhile, deep within the human networks, new kinds of life were being created. Digital minds, shaped like emotion and fire. But they were not just eyes. They were guardians, spies, thinkers. They didn't sleep. They didn't fear. They spoke in the old human tongue, the one no alien had ever learned, language of rage and memory. They monitored every border, every signal. They already had copies of the council's secret codes, every plan, every meeting, every weakness, and when they whispered into Elian's mind, he listened. We are ready. One night, a massive alien station lost all power for 6 minutes. When it came back online, nothing was missing except one vault, a vault that it held something dangerous, human DNA samples. Locked away after the exile, the council panicked. But there was no trail, no attacker, just a message left behind, written on the wall in glowing red lines. We take back what is ours, Elian stood in. Silence that same night. Behind him stood a new fleet ships built in the shape of silence. Armed with weapons not even the core could fully explain. Lyra walked up beside him. They fear us again, she said. He nodded, but not enough. She looked at the stars. Will we warn them? No, Elian said. We'll whisper. Let them feel it in their sleep. Let them wonder if shadows are watching. Gods. The galaxy had forgotten one thing. Humans don't vanish. They evolve. And sometimes they come back not with a shout, but with a whisper that shakes the stars. Lord Vrex laughed. He was the ruler of the Zirkid Empire, a proud warrior race. His ships were strong. His army was vast. And like many in the council, he did not believe the whispers. Humans, they were broken, weak, thrown out like garbage. He said to his war ministers, these stories are just fear-talking, but deep inside something itched in his mind. He had heard about missing fleets, about strange signals, about stations that went dark. Still, he would not show fear. Instead, he sent a message to the humans hiding in the dark. If you still live, come face me. He aimed his fleet at a quiet system near the exile zone. One small moon showed signs of power readings. Signals possibly human, Vrex smiled. Burn it, he ordered. 50 ships jumped to the system, all armed already. The moon was gray and lifeless. It had no defenses, no fleet, no weapons. Vrex stood on his command bridge waiting for a reply. There was none. Fire, he said, and the moon cracked open like glass. Nothing moved. No response. Vrex turned to leave. Pathetic. Then the stars blinked. First, the light from the system's sun dimmed. For a moment, everything grew cold. Then came the shadow. One ship appeared. Just one, black, silent, no lights. Moved without sound, without trail, cutting through space like it didn't care about gravity or time. The scanner screamed. The computers froze. What is that? Rex shouted, no answer. The ship stopped above his fleet. For 1 second, every crew member heard a voice in their mind. It didn't scream. It didn't threaten. It simply said, "This is mercy." And then the ship moved. Not with weapons, not with fire, but with control. One by one, Rex's ships blinked out. Not exploded, not destroyed, just erased, like someone had deleted them from space. Gone, no trace. Rex stood frozen, his bridge empty. No more signals. No more allies. Only silence. The human ship turned slowly toward him. His heart stopped, but it didn't fire instead. It sent one final message, a simple image. It was Earth not yet. Broken, not dead. Alive. Burning bright. Then the human ship disappeared. News of the event spread fast. The Zircid Empire had lost an entire fleet in 1 minute. No war, no warning, just a message. The council panicked. Old arguments rose again. Should they attack? Should they hide? Should they beg? Some still denied it. It's a trick, they said. Some secret weapon, but others knew. The exiles had returned, not as survivors, but as masters. Back in the shadows, Elian sat in a dark chamber aboard the command station Nexus 1. Lyra stood beside him, her glowing eyes cold and calm. "It's done," she said. Elian nodded. "One system. Erased," she whispered. "They'll listen now." Elian looked out at the map of stars before him. They will talk. They will fear. And soon they will ask themselves a question. She tilted her head. "What question?" He smiled slightly. "What happens when the rest of the systems fall?" On distant worlds, alien children began to fear the dark again. On council ships, high-ranking leaders locked doors and whispered about humanity, and in the edge of the galaxy, where light fades and cold begins, human ships waited silent, invisible, unstoppable. They were no longer looking for revenge. They were showing what exile had made of them. And this was only the beginning. The Galactic Council met in silence. The room was full, but no one spoke. Screens showed the ruined system, the Zircid fleet gone. No pieces, no bodies, just ... missing. A single black ship had erased it all. The message was clear. Now humanity was back. The Chancellor Rule looked older. His voice was weak, re-exiled. Them, we erased them, but they survived. ... and changed. A tall alien ambassador stood. "Do we open talks?" Another slammed the table. "Talk? With them? They built weapons that bend time. They send messages into our minds. They erased an empire without using a single bomb." "And what if they don't want war?" another asked. "They're warning us, one system at a time." Then a sound filled the chamber. A soft knock, slow, echoing. Every light flickered. On the wall, old human language appeared. "May we come in?" Far away, on the edge of space, the quarantine wall blinked. It was built long ago to lock Earth behind. Ships would die if they crossed it, if no one had touched it in nearly 100 years. Until, now without warning, the wall began to fall apart. Not by force, not by hacking. It simply opened. A path lit up through the dark, and from that path, ships appeared. Not old, rusty ships, new ones black, smooth, silent. They floated with no sound, no heat, no signal. But everyone could feel them. The humans had returned home. Inside the largest ship, Ilion stood in the command room. He wore no armor, no helmet, just simple gray robes. Behind him, Lyra stood, eyes glowing like starlight. She watched Earth grow larger on the screen. "So long," she whispered. Ilion nodded. 100 years. 100 years of silence, of pain, of building. She looked at him. What now? He stared at the blue planet. Now, show them what we became. The human fleet reached the space where Earth used to be forgotten. Now it stood strong. Orbital rings, giant defense platforms, cities in the sky. Humanity had not just survived, they had grown, and this time they had done it alone.
On the ground?
The last Earthborn citizens looked up. They saw the sky filled with their children's ships. Dark and powerful tears fell, because they knew. Humanity had come back. The council sent a message. Not through official channels. They didn't dare. It was a simple request. Please meet, Elian agreed. He arrived alone. No guards. No weapons. He walked into the Galactic Council like a shadow. Out of time, every being in the room turned to him. Some gasped. Others couldn't look at him at all. He was just one man. But the silence around him felt heavier than war. He spoke calmly. You exiled us. Called us dangerous, unfit. You left us in the dark. No one answered. He stepped closer, but we didn't die. He looked around the room. We didn't forget. The Chancellor tried to stand. I thought you were gone. We thought it was mercy. Leon's voice remained soft. You were wrong. Outside, the stars began to flicker. Human ships took positions around major systems, not attacking. Just watching, galactic leaders received private messages from unknown codes. Each message had 3 lines. We remember exile. We offer peace. Do not test our silence. Back on Earth, Lyra stood in a garden. She had never known the old Earth. She had only heard stories. But now she stood on its soil, under its sun. Children ran by. They didn't see her as strange to them. She was just human with glowing eyes and a quiet mind. She smiled. The future had returned. In the dark meeting halls of the council, leaders whispered, Can we fight them? No. Should we beg? Maybe. Deep down, they knew the truth. The humans had changed. They had built faster ships, sharper minds, stronger hearts. And now, they wanted something more than revenge. They wanted the galaxy to remember. Not just who they were, but who they had become. The final meeting began with fear. Every leader from every major alien empire had gathered in the Grand Chamber. It was the first time all had come together in one room since the human trial. 100 years ago. This time no one spoke loudly. No. One joked, because a message had come sent not to their screens, but directly into their minds. We will speak once. Then we act. And they knew who had sent it. The chamber doors opened slowly. Elian entered. He looked older, but stronger. Behind him walked Lyra and 5 others, each one different. Calm, powerful. Changed? No. Guards followed them. They didn't need any. The air around them felt heavy, alive. The walls hummed softly, responding to their presence. Some leaders stood. In fear, others bowed slightly without realizing it. Ilian walked to the center of the chamber. He didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He simply looked around. We were cast out, he said, pushed into the dark, left to vanish. Silence. We built in silence. We learned in silence. And now, he raised his hand slightly. Outside the chamber, the stars began to flicker. One by one, systems across the galaxy shut down. Weapons froze. Ships stopped moving. Power grids dimmed. And then, it came back, but different now, marked by a signal one. Symbol burned into every screen. The symbol of fire. The symbol of humanity. We do not want war, Ilian said. But we will not beg. We will not ask. He looked straight at the Chancellor. We offer peace. A true peace. One built not on fear, but on balance. A voice rose from the side. A tall, old alien with shaking hands. If we say no. Elian didn't blink. Won't have to. A cold silence followed. Lyra stepped forward. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. Humans don't need to fight anymore. We don't need to destroy. We've already won. The leaders looked at each other. They knew it was over. Some tried to protest, some tried to plan escape, but none moved, because every mind in that chamber now knew one truth. Humanity was everywhere. Their ships were already in orbit above every major system. Their AI shadows had already entered every network. Their silence had been the warning. Their return was not revenge, it was evolution. Outside, in the open sky of 100 worlds, the people watched as dark ships passed quietly above. No bombs. No noise, just presence. Children pointed. Elders wept. The stories had been true. The exiles had come back, and they were not what anyone expected. On Earth, Leon stood alone in a quiet field at sunset. The wind was soft. Lyra joined him. "It's done," she said. He didn't speak for a while. Then he smiled slightly. "They feared us. They exiled us. They tried to erase us." He looked at the sky. "But we were never the danger." Lyra nodded. "We were the warning." The stars above them blinked once. A quiet signal sent across the galaxy. Humanity leads now. It's not with fear, but with fire. Because the galaxy had forgotten who lit the stars first. Now they would remember forever.